Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to 2021. I know we're like a few weeks into the new year, but it's still kind of new to us and we're still in that new year, new me kind of phase. And if you're watching this, you are probably still in the process of setting and planning your goals for 2021. New Year goals tend to have a bit of a bad reputation just because so many New Year's resolutions fail. But I believe in setting goals for yourself every year because I think it is a productive way to start the year and you're also setting yourself up for success and growth in the year. But in order to reach these goals, you need to be realistic when you're setting them. And you need a strategy to actually reach these goals because it's not just going to magically happen by itself. So what I want to cover in today's video is how to set those realistic goals for yourself in 2021 and then the strategy that I use to actually make sure that I am going to be able to reach these goals by the end of the year. I'm also going to touch on manifestation towards the end of the video. Even if you don't believe in the mystical side of manifestation, there are definitely still tools that you use during manifestation that will help you to achieve your goals quicker and successfully. If you want to make some notes, grab a piece of paper, a pen, or just your phone, and let's start setting our goals for 2021. So before we can get into the strategy of reaching your goals, you actually have to set your goals and know what you're working towards. What I like to do when it comes to setting goals is I first look at goal categories for myself. So I will look at goals that I want to achieve in my personal life, goals that I want to achieve in my career, goals that I want to achieve financially, goals that I want to achieve health-wise, and goals that I want to achieve creatively. Obviously, the categories are going to differ based on your lifestyle, the things that you are interested in, and the areas that you want to grow. Perhaps you want to have a goal for travel, or maybe you're busy renovating a house and you want to have like a house goal list for the year. Whatever works for you, just decide on your categories. But I think the categories that most people would have goals for is personal, career, financial, and then health. You probably already have some goals in mind that you would already be able to place under these categories, but I also find that once I have my categories down, that usually also sparks goals for me. You might only have one goal per category, but some other categories maybe you have more than one goal in that category. So in this case, I would list the goals by priority, meaning that the goal that is the most important for me to reach this year, I would have at the top of the category list. You want to have your goals listed by priority just for when you get into kind of scheduling your steps to reach these goals, because the priority of the goal is going to determine how much time you want to invest into this specific goal. But before you move on to that, you want to go back into your goals and then you want to break those down into the action steps that we're going to follow to actually reach the overall goal. So you're basically creating action points that will be more like short-term goals, and then the overall goal will be your long-term goal. The action points are really important because your goal isn't just magically gonna happen in 2021. You have to kind of have this game plan of how you're gonna realize this goal. Say, for example, your goal is you want a certain amount of followers on Instagram this year. So that can be the long-term goal, but the action steps that you need to achieve that goal is to create more content this year, to post a certain amount of time this year, to engage with other people's content this year. So that's kind of the action steps that you have to achieve your goal of gaining more followers. Another example is you maybe want to lose a certain amount of weight. So the action steps within that is you have to eat more fruits and vegetables, or you have to exercise a certain amount of times a week, or you need to cut out sugars on specific days. So the action points are basically things that you can start implementing in your day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis so that you can start working towards that overall goal. Some goals might have more action steps than others, and some goals might take longer to achieve than others, and that's why you also have to kind of set a deadline for your goal. It's important to have a time frame or a date that you're working towards, because having that specific period of time to reach this goal will help with your motivation. Otherwise, it just becomes too easy to say, oh no, I'll start with this next week, or I'll do this next month. And then before you know it, it's going to be November 2021. And then you're going to realize that you kept on pushing everything out, and then you just simply don't have enough time to achieve the goals that you wanted in the year. Keep in mind that the deadline that you are setting is for that overall goal. So it's not for the smaller short-term action step goals, it's just for that long-term goal. Once you have the deadline, you want to go back to the short-term action step goals that you have, and we want to start looking at our calendars for the year and determine by when each of those short-term goals need to be achieved, so that when we come to this deadline, the overall goal will be achieved. With some of the goals, you will have daily action points that you need to follow. In other cases, you might only have weekly or monthly action points. So I would recommend getting a calendar where you can actually fill in your daily or weekly or monthly action points. You obviously have a bunch of different goals, and each goal has different action points, so it can start to feel a bit overwhelming. So by using the calendar, you can actually plan out your days and see when you have time to follow the action steps for each goal. Having the calendar is also a good way to just hold yourself accountable and also just remind yourself of what you have to do each day, because if you have so many goals and action steps, you will definitely have to have it written down somewhere or somewhere on your phone. Personally, I just use notes, and then I have a to-do list app on my phone, and that pretty much works for me, because then you can just like tick it off every day or every week once you've completed that action step. So that basically summarizes how I set my goals and the strategy that I follow to make sure that I'm actually going to be able to achieve my goals. The strategy works because the action steps that you created from that overall goal ensures that you have a plan in place now to reach your goal, and you're also making it part of your weekly or daily or monthly routine. So it's not just a goal that you had at the beginning of the year and then you kind of forget about it. You are actually constantly thinking about it and working towards it. I hope those tips made sense. I'm gonna move on to the manifestation part of the video now. I don't want to get into the theoretical part of manifestation too much, just because I feel like there are so many other videos out there that will explain it a lot better to you, made by people that are a lot more informed than me and understand it a lot better. I still wanted to include manifestation in this video today because it is something that I use to reach my goals, and I do believe that the things that I'm going to talk about just now will help anyone to achieve their goals as well. The reason why I believe this and manifestation works is not because of some frequency or mystical, magical power in the universe. I just believe when you are manifesting something, you focus on it so much more, which means that you are putting more energy into it, you are thinking about it a lot more, and therefore you will be making decisions and changes and taking steps in your life to make this goal a reality. There are a couple of ways that you can implement manifestation. The first one being something that we've just done, which is just setting your goals. One thing they recommend when writing down your goals for manifestation is to write it in a way that it's already happened. For example, you maybe have a goal that you want to be able to purchase this specific new car this year. So instead of saying, I want this car this year, you would say, I really love driving around my new car. Personally, I don't really think it will make a difference the way you write it, but having it written down somewhere, whether that be in a notebook, a diary, or your phone, I just think it's important to have your goal written out somewhere. Another manifestation technique that I think would definitely appeal to anyone who loves like doing arts and crafts is creating a vision board. What I would recommend is maybe creating a vision board for each goal category that we talked about earlier, and then you can visualize the goals that you have in each category on your board. And your board can be whatever you want it to be. So it can be pictures that you've cut out from magazines, newspapers, or just pictures that you've printed out. You can have quotes on there. Maybe you want specific words on there to motivate you. Basically, you can do anything you want with the vision board as long as it visualizes the goal that you want to achieve. The reason why I think vision boards are such a good idea is because you are actually creating something that you can look at to see your goals every day, and it again just acts as a reminder of what you are working towards. Lastly, I have 2 manifestation techniques that I think work well together, which is affirmations and meditation. When I think of affirmations, I kind of think like you are creating a mantra for yourself based on the goals that you want to achieve and where you want to see your life at the end of 2021. To write your affirmations, depending on how often you want to do it, I would probably go to my action points that we set up earlier, and then I would write each action point in a way that I am affirming it to myself. Maybe my overall goal is that I want to be more productive this year, and then an action point might be that I want to start getting up at 7 a.m. each morning. So in my affirmations, I will change that action point to I am going to get up at 7 a.m. today and I'm going to have a productive day. I think the best time to do your affirmations is either in the morning before you start the day, or you can even do it at night, like do it for the day before. And I would recommend doing it on a daily basis. A good way to do your affirmations is by using meditation. So just take like 10 to 15 minutes in the morning or the evening, and then use meditation to really focus on those affirmations and repeat it to yourself. Maybe imagine yourself doing it, kind of think of a time when you will be doing it. So now, because you have taken that extra energy and time to really focus on this thing, you will probably be more likely to do it. So that summarizes the way that I implement manifestation in my life. And I think we've basically covered all the points for this video today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please remember to give it a thumbs up down below. I would really appreciate it. Also, if you want to let me know in the comments what your goals are for 2021, please do. I would love to hear if the strategy works for you, and if you have any other tips to share with me, please feel free to leave them in the comments as well. I hope everyone has an amazing year, and then I'll see you guys in my next video.